Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are going Giratina hunting in the Ultra League Halloween Cup with an XL Wigglytuff. These battles were submitted to the channel by the one and only Boy Ghost, so many thanks for the battle submission. XL Wigglytuff is a normal and fairy type Pokemon with the moveset of Charm, Ice Beam, and Play Rough, and to start with, he pairs it up with a Shadow Scizor and a Galarian Weezing, and later on, a Crawdaunt. So without further ado, let's hop out of the matches and go Giratina hunting in the Ultra League Halloween Cup. Hopping into the first match, leading Galarian Weezing into Alolan Muck. Fairly neutral matchup, made a lot better by the fact that this Muck is actually running Snarl instead of Poison Jab. Galarian Weezing going straight for the Overheat. Overheat, able to land, save switch into Shadow Scizor, and Muck's gonna fire off a move. Should be able to live any one move here. Muck did not see the switch, goes for a Gunk Shot, and then switches in Venusaur. So they are clearly incredibly weak to Shadow Scizor in the back, because Venusaur is by no means a good response to a Scizor safe switch. Venusaur is going to fire off the Frenzy Plant. Scizor will commit the shield and return fire with the Night Slash. Night Slash will be taken out the Venusaur, so they're forced to commit the shield. Scizor continues to farm. Venusaur is going to fire off another Frenzy Plant. Scizor lets it through. Frenzy Plant not enough to KO, and Scizor is able to reach another Night Slash. That is going to be taken out the Venusaur. Back in comes the Alolan Muck. You do have to be careful of the potential Gunk Shot, of course. Wigglytuff going for the farm down. Unfortunately, switches out into the Galarian Weezing there. Commits the shield, only able to reach a Dark Pulse. In the back, it is Giratina, and Wigglytuff's time has come. Galarian Weezing is going to be able to put in a lot of work against it, of course, but if the Giratina is able to get through the Weezing, then Wigglytuff is here to absolutely wall it. Even better, this Giratina is running Shadow Sneak, which means every move that they currently have is double resisted by Wigglytuff. They're going to fire off a move. Shadow Sneak should just about KO here, and then it's Wigglytuff's time to shine. In comes Wigglytuff, and there is just nothing Giratina can do here. They go for the Shadow Sneak. That does absolutely nothing, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Galarian Weezing into Crobat. Crobat definitely an uncomfortable Pokemon to see on the lead, as it does very well against both Galarian Weezing and the XL Wigglytuff in the back. Weezing going straight for the Overheat. Overheat able to land, and a safe switch into Shadow Scizor. This Crobat does have a lot of energy. Scizor commits the shield, and it's the Shadow Ball that proves to be a massive shield. In comes Buzzwole. Gonna be fired off the Night Slash. Did not quite build up to the Iron Head, but Buzzwole is glassy enough that the opponent is going to respect it with a shield. Scizor is gonna let this go. This is a power-up punch Buzzwole, able to ramp up those counters more and more, but Scizor is still able to hang on and reach the Iron Head. Iron Head takes out the Buzzwole. Back in comes Crobat. This is going to be a tough farm down, so may as well send in the Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is going to be able to absorb this Poison Fang and commit to the farm down. An aggressive switch into the Weezing and resets the debuff. In the back, it is Scizor, another counter to Fairy types, going straight for the Overheat. Overheat gets shielded, continuing to farm. Can Galarian Weezing get to this next Overheat? Weezing commits the shield on the Night Slash. Weezing not able to get there as Scizor gets to another Night Slash. Night Slash lands. Weezing able to hang on and get to the Overheat. This is debuffed, but it KOs anyway, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Galarian Weezing into Fortress. Weezing does have to be mindful of the potential Mirror Shots, but thankfully, Mirror Shot, even when super effective, is not going to be doing a lot of damage. Fortress is going to fire off the Mirror Shot. Weezing tanks it like it's nothing and continues to farm up. Farming up and going for the Overheat. Overheat is going to be shielded by the opponent. Opponent continuing to farm. They're going to fire off another move. Weezing can survive a Mirror Shot here, so Weezing is going to let it go and then fire off another Overheat. This is debuffed, but this is still going to hurt. Opponent lets it through. It's barely not enough to KO, but Shadow Scizor gets the farm down. Opponent brings in a Coffagrigus, and that is not a response to Shadow Scizor. Scizor gets the shield. In the back is Ninetales, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a Dream Lead Galarian Weezing into Hydreigon. Opponent will need to immediately save switch out of this matchup, and they do into a Scavalier. A Scavalier is honestly a bit of an awkward Pokemon for this team to see. Weezing is able to threaten with an Overheat, but the Drill Runs are going to hit for massive super effective damage in return. Weezing is going to commit the shield on the Drill Run, staying in here, and going to be firing off another Overheat. This Overheat is debuffed, but will still do massive damage. Escav, double shields, and now a switch into Shadow Scizor. Scizor is definitely not going to appreciate the Drill Run here. Escav fires off the Drill Run, that deals quite a lot of damage. Scizor is able to hang on and fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash does some solid damage, but unfortunately, I was going to say Escav gets farmed down, but the opponent gives up Switch, and now Hydreigon gets absolutely destroyed with Wigglytuff. We'll have to see, do they bring back in the Escav, or do we see their final Pokemon? We see the final Pokemon, and it is Crobat. Now, Crobat, Poison type, is going to be resisting Charms, but thankfully, due to the energy lead that Wigglytuff has, Wigglytuff is going to be able to reach the Ice Beam. Ice Beam, able to connect, and deal some pretty significant damage. A switch into Weezing. Weezing is going to be able to tank the Poison Fang here, no problem, and farm down the Crobat. Back in comes a Scavalier, but a Scavalier has no more shields. Overheat takes out the Escav, and that is a good game. Neutral lead in the next match, Galarian Weezing into Galvantula. Weezing does of course have the one-shot potential of Overheat, but a shielded Overheat puts Weezing at a pretty significant disadvantage in this matchup. Going to let it through, Galvantula goes for the lunge, just aiming for the debuff. Weezing continues to farm up and is going to full send the Overheat, hoping the opponent calls the bait, but they do not. They commit the shield. Going for Overheat number 2, unfortunately does lose CMP. Galvantula goes for another lunge, and this Weezing is now 4 stages debuffed. Overheat able to land. In comes Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is able to charm down the Galvantula. In the back, the opponent has Dragalge, and this is by no means a good counter to Wigglytuff. Now, this is just going to be an Aqua Tail from the Dragalge, but if they're bringing in Dragalge, they must be incredibly weak to Wigglytuff in the back. They're going to be firing off another Aqua Tail. Wigglytuff is going to let that go. Could fire off a move here to prevent taking another Aqua Tail, but instead going to commit a shield and farm down. We're hoping for Giratina in the back, and it's an Umbreon, but clicks on the Ice Beam. Oh no, this is a big mistake. Really need a shield from the opponent, and they do shield. Thank goodness. Wigglytuff is going to be able to reach the Play Rough. This will hit for massive super effective damage onto the Umbreon and a switch into the Galarian Weezing to absorb the energy. Last resort, not going to be doing a whole lot. Back in comes Wigglytuff, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, the team has switched up a bit, leading Crawdaunt into Togekiss. A safe switch into Galarian Weezing, and the Togekiss is staying in here. Opponent goes for a Play Rough catch onto Crobat, but Galarian Weezing able to hold on to its energy and unleash the Overheat onto the Crobat. Weezing firing off Overheat number 2. This is debuffed, but should still just about KO. Crobat able to survive on 1 HP and get to a last-second Poison Fang. Galarian Weezing does not have to shield that, and Galarian Weezing is able to take switch advantage. Back in comes Togekiss, but Weezing is not done, firing off the quad debuffed Overheat, dealing some solid chip damage onto the Togekiss. And now, Togekiss is going to be aligned onto the Wigglytuff, and Wigglytuff, significantly better matchup than going up against Crawdaunt. Ancient Power gets the shield, in comes Bisharp, continuing to farm, and a switch, and a catch onto Crawdaunt. Bisharp went for the Iron Head, so that proves to be an incredibly important catch. Crawdaunt just going to be going straight for the Night Slash here. It is resisted, but Bisharp is not the tankiest, and Crawdaunt gets the boost. Let's go. Choosing to let it go. Opponent goes for the Dark Pulse, and they're able to get the farm down. Wigglytuff is going to need to shield up the Iron Head here, but should be able to charm down the Togekiss before they're able to get to their next move. Able to get a shield, farm down the Bisharp, in comes Togekiss. Togekiss gets charmed down, and that is a good game. Great lead in the next match. Crawdon into Driftblim. You love to see it. Opponent save switches into Poison Jab Alolan Muck. And honestly, this is a bit of a core breaker for this team. Gonna go straight for the Crab Hammer. This will do a lot of damage if it lands, which it does. And then in comes Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing does have a pretty nice matchup here. Going to be committing the shield. And unfortunately, it is a resisted Dark Pulse. Weezing, undeterred, is gonna fire off the Play Rough. Play Rough does get the shield, so the opponent may actually have Sludge Wave based on the fact that they're shielding in a negative matchup. Weezing lets it go. It is the Sludge Wave. Weezing able to hang on and reach a last second overheat. This overheat will KO, so the opponent is forced to burn the final shield and farm down. Unfortunately, did lose switch advantage, but the nice thing is that, to be honest, Wigglytuff and Crawdon both have good matchups going up against the Driftblim. Commits the shield. Muck, unfortunately, only made it to the Dark Pulse. In comes Driftblim. Aggressive switch into Crawdon. In the back, it's Toxicroak, and Crawdon is being absolutely shredded with counters. Going for the Crab Hammer. Crab Hammer lands, gets the boost, but gets countered down, and unfortunately, Toxicroak is going to be able to reach the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will take out the XL Wigglytuff, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Crawdon into Drapion. This lead is very dependent on Drapion's moveset. If Drapion is running Crunch and Aqua Tail, then all the charge moves are going to be resisted, but if it's Sludge Bomb, then that could spell trouble. Crawdon goes for the Crab Hammer, and it lands, dealing a ton of damage to the Drapion. They did build up to the Sludge Bomb, and they have it, as that deals a ton of damage in return. Crawdon farming up and able to make it to another Crab Hammer. Decision time for the Drapion. Do they want to commit a shield? They do not, and Crawdon is able to win lead. In comes a Scavalier. A Scavalier is going to be met with the Galarian Weezing, but this is a very tricky matchup, as Drill Run hits for super effective damage. An Overheat will easily one-shot, but a shielded Overheat means that the next ones are going to be debuffed. Farming up to 100 energy, but loses CMP to the Escab. This Drill Run, not enough to KO, but will do a lot of damage. Going straight for the Overheat. No baits here. Overheat lands, and in the back, they have Togekiss. Firing off Overheat number 2. This one is debuffed. Togekiss will commit the shield, and now it is Wigglytuff time. Wigglytuff charming away at this Togekiss. Togekiss is going to be firing off a charge move and an immediate shield from the Wigglytuff. The charm damage is too important here. Wigglytuff continuing to farm. Going for the Ice Beam. Honestly, may have been safer to just go for the farm down here. Opponent commits the shield. They're able to take out the Wigglytuff, but Galarian Weezing farms them down and secures the win. Hopping into the final match, still running a Giratina destroying team, but unfortunately seeing very few Giratinas, leading Crawdon into a Snarl Alolan Muck. Going straight for the Crab Hammer. Crab Hammer is able to connect, and Crawdon gets the boost. This is about to get fun. Crawdon going for the boosted Night Slash, gets a shield from the Alolan Muck. Going to be committing a shield in return. Alolan Muck unfortunately baits with a Dark Pulse. Continuing to farm. Alolan Muck does have a lot of energy here. Double shielding, and that proves to be a good decision, as it was a Sludge Wave. And now the Crawdon has back-to-back Night Slashes loaded. Night Slash able to land, and that's enough to KO. In comes Crustle, going for the boosted Crab Hammer. Is this able to land? It is not, as the opponent will commit the shield. Not going to be able to reach a Crab Hammer before Crustle got to a move, so just going to fire off the Night Slash and then pivot into Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff going for the farm down. Will have to tank a move to do so. Rock Slide going to do some solid neutral damage, and in the back, we'll have to see. It is a Scizor. Scizor able to get the farm down. Now the question is, can Scizor KO before the Galarian Weezing is able to reach the Overheat? Bringing in this, oh no, it looks like they're running X-Scissor and Night Slash, and if that's the case, then they are fully walled by this Galarian Weezing. Weezing will comfortably reach the Overheat. This Overheat will vaporize the Scizor, and that is a good game. All in all, some very fun battles featuring a triple anti-Giratina team. The downside was, didn't end up seeing a lot of Giratinas, but the one Giratina that was encountered was absolutely miserable. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.